The boy suddenly discovered that the brother he had grown up with turned out to be fake, and even the disability in his legs seems to be fake. In order to find out the truth, after his brother went to bed at night, he pretended to fall asleep on the table. However, the elder brother slowly came up behind him, picked up the automatic lead on the table and kept pressing it against his eyes. When he was about to insert it into his eyes, the elder brother had no intention of stopping at all, and his eyes seemed filled with tears. He felt resentful until the pencil lead finally fell off, and when he saw that his brother had no reaction at all, he left the room with peace of mind. Only then did the younger brother open his eyes, get up and follow him out. The elder brother came to the street and looked around. After making sure that no one was around, he took a big step and became completely normal. He had no leg problems at all. The younger brother got into a taxi and followed him all the way into an alley. There were the little gangsters who called their elder brother obediently when they saw him. When he saw the appearance of these two people clearly, he was completely confused. They were clearly the two policemen who went to his house a few days ago. Just a few days ago, he saw his brother being taken away by a group of people in front of his home. He tried his best, but failed to catch up with the car. He could only try to write down the license plate number. However, the next day, the police came to the home and could not find the license plate information. Later, the police suspected that he had misremembered, so they had to wait at his home, but they never received a call from the kidnapper. However, on the 19th day, the elder brother came back on his own. Perhaps he suffered too much pain and completely lost his memory of this period, but his behavior became more and more weird. Not only did he often leave the room secretly in the middle of the night, but sometimes his disabled left leg would suddenly turn into right leg. Who is my brother? In other words, he is not his brother at all. However, at this moment, he was suddenly knocked unconscious. The next day, he woke up on his desk again, while his brother was sleeping soundly in bed. He hid in the bathroom and tried to remember everything that had happened last night. Faced with his questioning, his brother said that it must be a dream of his. However, he was very sure that it was not a dream, and the man in front of him was definitely not his brother. He picked up an iron pipe and slowly went out, but was suddenly knocked down by his brother. He asked what happened to his brother.
다 실제가 아니야, 어? 샤프심, 네가 탔던 택시, 널 뒤쫓던 그 남자들 전부 다 실제로 있었던 일이 아니라고. 내 기억들, 준석이 또 약. 너 약 먹었어?
The younger brother then remembered that when he was taking medicine yesterday, the pills fell under the table. He indeed did not take the medicine. However, after his brother left, he found that the pen refill that fell on the table was still there. It was not a dream. The younger brother immediately told his mother everything he saw, and her mother seemed very nervous after hearing this. However, at night, when he got up to drink water, he overheard his mother talking on the phone.
이 새끼가 분명히 그렇게 말했어.
The younger brother was confused. Does this mother also have a problem? However, at this moment, he accidentally made a noise, and his mother seemed to notice it. He hurried outside the door and was not discovered by his mother. However, the other end of the phone seemed to ask his mother to go upstairs to check. In desperation, he quickly climbed back to the second floor along the pipe from outside, and finally returned to his bed before his mother entered the room. Mom opened the quilt and looked at the rain on his face, showing a strange smile. Hearing the sound of the door closing, he heaved a sigh of relief and sat her day up. Only then did he realize that his mother had not left at all, but was standing at the head of the bed watching him. The open window and the rain on his face had already given him away. Mom smiled wearily, turned around and went out, and immediately called Dad.
빨리 와야겠어. 지금 당장. 나도 이 새끼한테.
At this time, the younger brother felt bad and had escaped from the back window. He didn't know what was happening, but he had to get out of here first. However, as soon as he ran out of the house, he met his father who was rushing back. It was obvious that this father was also fake. At this time, his mother and a stranger had appeared behind him. Before he had time to think about it, his younger brother pushed his father away and ran away. As soon as his mother gave the order, the strange man immediately chased him and passed through several blocks. In the end, he was caught by the man. At the critical moment, the man was hit by a passing motorcycle. He quickly took the opportunity to escape again, and finally met a patrolling police car at an intersection. The man who caught up turned around and left when he saw that there was no chance. This time he was finally safe. He followed the police back to the police station and told them all about his experience. However, when the police heard that he was 21 years old, their faces were full of disbelief.
몇 년도인데 77년생이 21살이요?
97년도니까 21살이 맞죠.
His words instantly caused everyone to burst into laughter.
저 달력 잘 보고 따라 읽어야
The younger brother looked up and saw clearly on the calendar, May 2017. He was completely confused. He stood up and touched the calendar, looking at the tablet computer in other people's hands that he had never seen before, and the content on the TV news. Everything was so strange. He looked back at himself in the mirror and saw a middle-aged uncle in his 40s or 50s. He touched his face and couldn't believe his eyes. Why do I always think I lived 20 years ago? What happened to those family members of my own? He returns to the home he just escaped from with all his questions, and now perhaps only those so-called family members can tell him the truth. However, as soon as he entered the house, he heard music coming from upstairs. He went all the way to the second floor, and the door to the room that had been locked at home was actually open. He opened the door and walked into the room. There was a mannequin lying on the ground. The room was in a mess and there was blood everywhere. There was a dagger beside the model. There was also a mannequin on the other side of the room. The floor was also covered in blood. While he was confused, his brother suddenly walked in, followed by his parents. The brother finally told his secret. 20 years ago, in this very room, a mother and daughter were brutally murdered. Although it attracted great attention from the police and the public at the time, the murderer was never found until the case went beyond the retrospective period and was eventually forgotten by everyone. Only the son of this family did not give up. When he grew up, he began to investigate on his own. After 4 years of investigation, he finally found the murderer, but he tried all his methods. But the murderer still refused to admit guilt. He never remembered that he had killed anyone. After many attempts, he finally determined that the murderer had lost his memory. He didn't want to just kill someone who couldn't remember anything. He had to find out the murderer's motive for the murder, or is the mastermind behind the scenes. So he consulted a hypnosis expert. The expert speculated that during that period, the murderer had encountered something extremely painful for him. His subconscious mind selectively erased that painful memory, and if the only way to get him to recover that memory is to let him go back to the time before the crime, that is, 1997. So he began to give the murderer psychotropic drugs and hypnotize him. He pretended to be his brother, and a hypnosis expert and a professional actor pretended to be his parents.
지금 몇 년이죠?
97년.
They successfully brought his brother's consciousness back to 20 years ago and brought the whole family back to life. After moving into the house where the murder occurred, they completely restored the scene of the crime and finally waited for a rainy night similar to the day of the crime. However, at this moment, an accident occurred. The elder brother was summoned by the police at the door because of gang involvement. In other words, the younger brother saw that his elder brother was kidnapped. In order not to be suspected, the elder brother asked his men to pretend to be police officers and go to the home to investigate and buy time for himself. And he was finally released on bail 19 days later after a lot of dealings. And then he had to wait for the rainy day to continue completing the plan. However, during this period, his younger brother slowly became suspicious of him. First his older brother, and then his mother. Flaws were exposed one after another, until finally it completely collapsed. At this point, the brother decided to give up the plan and prepared to kill him directly to avenge his family. However, the younger brother still didn't believe that he could kill someone. He thought everything was his brother's conspiracy, so he found an opportunity to open the car door and jumped out. The elder brother immediately turned around and gave chase. However, during the chase, the elder brother lost his mind and raced desperately, resulting in a car accident. He was trapped in the car and watched helplessly as his younger brother left. The dazed brother had just taken a few steps when he was hit by a passing truck and was eventually sent to the hospital. Perhaps because of the impact, memories from 20 years ago began to flash in his mind. Back then, their family was traveling by car, but they suddenly encountered a car accident. His parents were killed in the car accident, and his brother also fell into a deep coma in the hospital. The attending physician told him that surgery must be performed immediately, and if he missed the opportunity, he might never wake up. However, the early treatment had already exhausted all the family's savings, so the younger brother began to try various ways to make money, but to no avail. With his last vestige of fantasy, he posed a request for help through the internet. As long as someone was willing to help, he was willing to do anything, even sell his soul. Unexpectedly, he received a reply soon, and the first sentence from the other party was just ask him, "Are you serious about giving up your soul?" The younger brother didn't understand why the other party asked this. The other party's answer was very direct. "Because you need money urgently, and I need you urgently. I want you to help me kill someone. If you are willing, send me your home phone number, and you must reply to me before noon." After noon, he would have lost his chance forever. He was completely confused and never thought that one day he would kill someone. He sat next to the computer and thought about it all morning, and finally gritted his teeth and sent the phone number. As a result, the call came quickly and told him an address. On a dark rainy night, he came to that address and followed his employer's promise to find the key to the door in the pipe. The employer has repeatedly warned that there are 3 mothers and children at home, and only the mother should be dealt with, and the children must not be harmed. However, when he opened the bedroom door and saw the mother and son sleeping peacefully on the bed, he found that he couldn't do anything at all. He finally decided to give up, but just as he was about to leave, the woman walked out of the room and mistakenly identified him as her husband. When he turned around, the woman saw the murder weapon in his hand and was immediately frightened. Got a scream. He immediately panicked and quickly apologized, saying that he was just confused and that he would leave immediately. However, at this moment, the daughter upstairs heard the noise and came down. When she saw the scene in front of her, she immediately screamed. Now it was even more panicked and shouted at the girl not to scream. But the girl screamed and ran upstairs. In panic, he hurriedly chased after her. The woman tried to stop him, but he pushed her away. As a result, she rolled down the stairs and fainted. He turned and chased her to the room upstairs. The girl gradually became silent. Only then did he realize that it might have killed someone, and he hurried over to check. But the girl was no longer breathing. He was so frightened that he cried on the spot. At this time, the woman who woke up had already chased upstairs. When she saw her dead daughter, she screamed at the top of her lungs. As a result, her scream stimulated him again, and he turned around and rushed toward the woman. In the end, the woman also died. Under his knife, he dropped the dagger and fled the room in a hurry, but was stopped by a boy downstairs. It turned out that the son of this family could not find his mother. He tricked the boy into going back to bed and saying that his mother would be back soon. However, just as he turned to leave, he saw a family photo on the wall. The man on it was actually his brother's doctor. He understood everything instantly. Then the doctor received a call from his son, who told his father that his mother and sister were lying on the ground covered in blood. Hearing that his daughter was also dead, the doctor panicked. But as soon as he turned around, his brother had already found him.
선생님, 왜 그러셨어요? 가족이잖아요.
애들 엄마 하나만 희생하면 길거리에 낳는 걸 막을 수 있었어.
It turns out that all this was the doctor's plan. The economic crisis caused him to owe a huge foreign debt. In the end, he decided to kill his wife and get a bail to survive the crisis, but he did not expect to accidentally kill his daughter. In the end, he blamed his daughter's death on his brother and decided not to treat his brother. The two almost crazy people immediately struggled with each other. However, in the chaos, the doctor accidentally fell down. Although his brother tried his best to pull him up, he failed in the end. Everyone died, and this unbearable pain tortured him all the time until he lost all memory. When his brother came to his ward, the plan failed and he decided to end it. However, just when he was about to take action, his brother suddenly began to apologize to him, saying that he was sorry for the dead mother and daughter. The elder brother found out that he had recovered his memory, and immediately asked him why he killed his family back then, and whether he was instigated by someone else, or whether he was instigated by the woman's husband. It turned out that not long ago, he investigated and found that 1 month before the accident, his father, who was not wealthy, actually bought an insurance policy for his mother. What he wanted to know most now was whether it was his father's instigation. The younger brother looked at his older brother in front of him. If he told him the truth, it would definitely bring him a lifetime of pain. His own fault was irreparable. He didn't want to cause any more pain to his older brother, so he denied his guess. However, his brother had already seen the truth from his eyes.
그걸 지금 나보고 믿으라고. 잘 살아라.
A few minutes later, the elder brother jumped from the roof, while the younger brother injected poison into his body. The movie ends here. This is a rare good movie, full of suspense and constant twists. The younger brother's thoughts changed him into good and evil. The elder brother found the truth, but lost the reason to live. The whole film is full of contradictions and entanglements, but it is also reasonable. It is recommended to watch the original film to better understand the emotional changes of each character, and to understand the cruelty of society and the fragility of human nature.